What does it take to create a successful facilitation business in 2026 and start generating revenues? This year, I'm going all in my facilitation business and I want to share with you the full 2025 review, what went well, what didn't go well, and how I'm planning to use those information to set up my 2026 plan. Welcome to another day, another workshop. I'm Midi, your host. I've been workshopping for the last 6 years, helping teams work better together and achieve the outcome they are dreaming for. And I've also been teaching hundreds of people the craft of facilitation. And this episode is going to be a bit special because I'm going to share something more personal and give you a status of where I am in my journey. So for those who may new, used to have a full-time job. So I was leading an innovation and design team for the last, I think, 6 years for a big consultancy. I had the chance there to do a lot of facilitation, to hire people, to recruit people, to be in contact with clients, to create business for the consultancy. So I believe that I had the chance to practice every skills that is needed to create and to run a successful facilitation business. And also I started to realize that I didn't see myself working for a company anymore. I wanted to work for myself. And of course, I'm a father of two. I have a mortgage, so I couldn't just take this scary jump. So I was like, what can I do today to help me make this jump less scary when the time would come? So this is why a year and a half ago, I decided to launch a Facilitators Corner, my facilitation agency. And I decided that every money that will be made through this company will be reinvested in the company. Why? Because I wanted to create the healthy foundation of Facilitators Corner so that the day I'm going to take the risk, this risk is going to feel like more controlled and a smaller risk to take. Okay. I've been doing that for a year and a half. And if we look back at last year, my full first year as a agency owner, I made around 66K. 66K. So it's not huge, not small. I think it's okay for a business on the side. And if we look at how the revenue was breakdown, because I have two audiences, I have the corporates that I'm helping through facilitation services and training, but I'm also helping facilitator improve their game or start learning the craft of facilitation. And if we look at the two audience I'm serving, two-thirds of the revenues was generated by the corporate work, and one-third was created with the coaching and the training business for like more like kind of B2C business. Okay. And I think it's already an interesting point since most of my time was actually spent on the facilitators audience. Okay. So I've been creating content more for them. I've developed the workshop deck, which is a set of cards to design better workshop in less time. And this was initially a B2C product. So I've done all those things. And at the end of the year, when I'm looking at the numbers, I was like, oh, it's interesting that double of the revenue is made by something that was less my priority. So it was also less my priority because of my situation. I was working full time at a company. I had customer meeting. I was selling deals for this consultancy. So I had a lot of conflicts of interest. So this is why it was difficult for me to develop the corporate business because of those conflict of interest. And so the only clients I could work with were clients that were not served through my consultancy, and we were basically working with all the big fish. So this made it like a challenge, and this is why also I decided to focus more on the facilitator audience. And also something I want to say, like I never planned to serve the facilitation to the facilitators. It's something that came up a bit by surprise. So 3 years ago, I started to create content on LinkedIn about facilitation. And my idea was like, if I talk about facilitation, about the pain points that it solves and how to run better workshop, I will attract corporate clients. And actually, I'm not saying it's doing the opposite, but it's actually attracting more your peers. So I was starting to build this facilitation audience. And at some point I was like, watching all the business content, like Alex also was a huge influence for me. Now you need to start monetizing for this audience. And I did the first experiment, run a boot camp, 6 week with awesome facilitators. I've trained them like everything I wish there was in my training when I started. It was a success. And then I continue to serve that audience. I'm not, of course, saying that content creation this way is not helping me for my corporate business. It's just like corporate clients will interact a bit less on LinkedIn. They will see your post, you will create awareness. If they are checking your profile at some point because you've sent an offer, it will serve as a credibility check. But back then, and still the case today, it's not bringing me real corporate leads, like a very small amount, to be honest with you. Okay. And what I find interesting when I'm looking back is that there is this belief, especially because of internet, like the coaching business, the training business, the info product business is the where you can scale. And it's not the case for me. I don't know if it's linked to facilitation, but selling services to other facilitators, to freelance facilitators or facilitators that are working inside company, it's not that easy. It requires a lot of effort, or I will need to grow my audience, which I'm trying to do, to be honest. But like it should be a huge increase to be like more less heavy work to sell to those clients. Okay, so this was more a coincidence, but what is interesting is that I'm spending 70% of my time on this and it's only bringing me a third. So there you have a clear signal that you should double down on corporate work. So now that I'm working fully on myself and that I don't have any constraint because of conflict of interest, now I can fully focus on the corporate. So I'm still planning to serve both, but for 2026, I really want to double down on corporate. The thing with corporates is that signing a new corporate client, it takes some time. Okay. It takes like 3 to 6 months, depending of the type of clients, because you need to be referenced as a supplier. So you need to be like, sometimes the procurement department can be a big hurdle. So you want to manage this so that so that it's okay to work with you. Or you can also sell your services and then invoice through, I don't know, agencies or companies that are in place. But I prefer managing that myself so that I don't have like partners that can also impact the experience more than the money side, because yes, they will take a take. But more importantly, I want the experience of working with facilitators corner to be best in class. And I can only do that if I'm managing all the journey. So I'm planning to double on corporate clients. So to double on corporate clients, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to leverage my network. So over the years, I've built a network for the consultancy. So I have a good contacts with different leaders in corporates, and I'm going to leverage that. Also, small information. I decided not to niche, so I'm not like only working with head of design and innovation teams for workshopping. I like variety of work. So I'm taking things where I'm really happy to work on. So I'm going to work with marketing managers, we head of innovation, transformation manager, strategy managers, etc., etc. Yeah, it makes it more fun, but it also makes it more tricky to shape the message because then you need to customize a lot in the beginning, but we'll come back to that. So first, I will leverage my network. When I'm saying I leverage my network is that I'm going to have direct contacts with the clients I'm planning to work with. So adding clients with me, it will receive a call from me. It will receive a text message. No matter is the best way to contact them, I will try to set up a meeting. And this is what I'm doing at the moment. So every day I'm taking my phone, I'm sending emails to get those leads, and I'm filling in this agenda. Then, if they cannot work with me, because I also have friends that are part of those companies, is like, okay, how can my friends, how can the people I know who trust me can introduce me to other key decision makers? So I'm going to ask those guys like who could be interested within your organization through my services. And ideally my friend or is introducing me to the right stakeholders, which is always better, or it's just like giving me direction like this guy or this person could be a great prospect for you. Go ahead and contact them. Obviously, it has more power if they introduce you to this person, but in both scenarios, it's still good because you have more insight on the situation instead of you going on LinkedIn or having kind of a list where you need to guess if it would be a good prospect or not. So this is the first thing, leverage your network. What I'm going to do is start reaching out to warm audience. So through LinkedIn, through my past experience I started my career as a sales. So I have also like old list of clients I'm going to contact, and I've never sell them anything related to the facilitation. It's been a long time, or we connected through LinkedIn, but then I'm planning to send them some warm outreach, either by email, either per LinkedIn DMs. So what a warm outreach just mean a message to someone that you know in some way. Okay, it's called a cold outreach when you never had any contact with the person. So like it's like very very cold, and this is a bit the difference. So this is what I'm planning to do. First, leverage my warm audience and contact them through different channels. Also, I'm doing something very old school. I'm picking up my phone and I'm calling people. I know it may sound scary. I was lucky enough to have done this in the past, so I can do it. It still hurts. It still hurts, Diego, because you're gonna have some news and you're gonna like have some voice messages and they will never answer you. But I believe it's the one of the most efficient way to get the meetings and like to bring business to the table. Okay. And also like leveraging your network, warm outreach, I believe are the ways to get business as fast as you can. All right. Then once you're done with the warm outreach type of audience, you want to move to the cold audience. So you want to start building a list of person that you think could be interested in your services. So in my case, I would look at marketing manager, head of communication, a head of transformation team, any type of profiles who may be interested in my capabilities, and then I will also send them a message. But since it's a cold outreach, again, the probability of getting an answer is going to be smaller, and you need to be comfortable with that. I think, like, honestly, the ratio can be like 1 out of 10 just for the first message. Okay. A framework, maybe I can share this, like a framework that I'm using when I'm sending out message. It's called the ACA framework. So first you want to acknowledge any information that you've seen about the leads, about the prospect. Then you want to compliment, and then you want to go for the ask. So if I see someone that launched an interesting project, or like they did a full revamp of their mobile app, I always say like, oh, congrats on the work of the app. This is amazing what you've done. I've tested it, best in class. And then you can introduce what you're selling. I can imagine it's maybe difficult to align on what's next when it comes to your product strategy. I've been helping other type of companies to do it, and this is the type of result we've had. Would you be interested with a call with me so that I can share the type of results we got? And you see, in the ask, I'm not saying my message was perfect because it was on the spot, but then I'm trying to show some authority that I understand the type of problems that he may have, and I'm showing him the value of getting the meeting with me. So the what's in it for him is a bit more clear than just like, would you have a coffee? What I'm saying that a lot, and even back then in my young sales day, sometimes we were just pushing for the meeting without giving any value, and then we were using some techniques to force a bit the prospect to get the meeting. But then, like as soon as they would have the opportunity to skip it, he will skip it. Customers love testimonials. They love case studies, what you've done before and the type of results you have. It's inspired them of what to do. So usually it triggers the interest. Okay. So this is how I'm planning to. I'm just going to check because I've prepared this episode. Surprising, but I did. I'm just going to check if I forgot anything. Yes. Yeah. So something also interesting for me. So I worked on the workshop deck, and honestly, I didn't have that plan. I just 3 years ago I had this idea of like, oh, it would be nice if I could help people design better workshop by knowing which activities to actually deliver. It's simple to explain, etc. So I created like this curated list. And then when I sold it, everyone told me, you're gonna kill yourself. It's a difficult business in the sense like you need to ship packages and packages get lost and the margins is not great, etc. etc. And I knew all of that. But I believe that having a physical product can make a difference in terms of like relationship with your brand. And on top of that, it's a great marketing asset. Like it will be on offices because I believe it's nice. At least I hope it is. So it will get some attention, and it's a great way to get more, to get more awareness about your brand. And why I'm sharing this with you is that some people that bought the workshop deck, in my case, are perfect in terms of my target audience. Some of them are leaders in corporates. Some of them are, again, ideal for me of pitching them my facilitation services. Okay. So I have a list that I can contact, and I already delivered value through the workshop deck, to the course that comes with the workshop deck or the app, no matter what. So it's an easier sell because they know me, they bought my stuff. So now I can go for the upsell, and usually this upsell is not paid by their pocket; it's paid by the company, which makes it always easier. This something I also realized is that I don't need to stick to my country. Like I'm based in Belgium, but I can workshop everywhere. So if you sell your workshop like I'm more premium, so I'm like my rates are premium, then it's like, instead of trying to find like the type of clients I can afford for my services in Belgium, I can just target like anyone in the world. And obviously, some rates are less impressive for big companies that are used to spend money for those type of services. Okay, in Belgium, like typically they don't fully understand what is a workshop, what is the value it can bring, and when they see the price, they are like, "Oh, holy smoke, this is a lot." So I'm not sticking to it. So for example, now I'm having discussion with different companies in different countries, and this is also a great way of like selling my services, because if I sell more expensive, I need to sell less workshops. I know obvious, but still this makes it less scary in terms of volume of sales that you want to do. Because if it's cheaper, you need to sell way more. It's way more complex because again, like getting your footprint and your foot in the door is always tricky. Like no, I'm just giving tips that I'm going to follow. The second something that works well for me is reaching to learning and development managers or head of HR. So I'm going to tell them like the value about investing in facilitation. That is one of the skills that will never disappear. And in terms of AI, we need those skills because the problems that we are going to face are going to become more and more complex. We need the right expertise around the table to solve it. But guess what? People cannot work together. And this is where facilitation does magic. So I will reach out to them and I will sell and pitch a training. And usually my training are less expensive because it's an easy way for me to get the foot in the door. I spend half a day, 2 days with leaders. Then we create intimacy. I show them that I'm an expert on the field. And then it's easier for me than to sell them a workshop. And it's not necessarily me going to them, but they just like they are convinced about the value. No, they fully understand what is a workshop. They see how they can implement one, but they will feel like, oh, this is still a big gap. Maybe I need extra support. And to who they will go to? By you, the expert, or give the training. So training has always been a good strategy for me in the past, and I'm going to double down on this. And this is where again the workshop deck, like if you have a workbook, if you wrote a book, you can like package your facilities, your training services, and make it way more appealing. Like I'm not just coming with slides or content. I'm coming with a full system to support the real transformation of your employees, of your teams. You get the workshop deck, you get the app, you get the workbook. So this makes it way more compelling. So in my experiences, well, for the moment, having just two conversations with L&D managers with when it comes to the workshop deck and stuff. But I believe it's gonna be a strong value proposition compared to other more generic type of training. Okay. And my last advice is never underestimate how you can grow your business when you already work with someone in a company. So I've done great work with one of the clients. They like me, they like my work. Obviously, you're gonna collect testimonial, but on top of that, you're gonna ask this question: who within your organization could benefit from services that are the same services that I deliver? And then you're gonna get IDs, names, and then you can ask, like, can you introduce me to them? And they say yes, awesome for you. It's gonna be an easier way to interact with them. If it's not the case, you just call them, send them an email, but like you're gonna have stronger chances to have the meeting because you already work with this company. I've been working with your company. I've been helping this person with offsites, with team retreats, with strategy workshops, and they were super blown away. They're super happy. This is what your colleague believe of my services. Would you be interested to discuss your situation? Again, taking another example, I have this company, I'm doing their offsites every year. And I know they told me that every middle managers has a budget to run 2 to 3 offsite per year. Again, I'm going to contact them like, hey, I've been running all the offsites of this company. We're doing it 3 times a year. Would you be interested in discussing how we can design one of your retreats so that it's more impactful? And usually you will get the meeting. They are curious. Oh, my colleague worked with you. What did you do with my colleague? And then you can show stuff. And because it's the same company, you can even show more stuff that you were allowed to do it initially. So I think this is very interesting. So this is my plan for corporate work. Now, for the facilitation audience that I'm serving, before, again, I was running my business like a hobby. I didn't care. Like I was like, I first want to deliver value. I want to deliver transformation. I want people to pay because I want them to be invested in the process, in the transformation. And this is why even the first training that I delivered, it was a great offer because it was 6 weeks for 150 euros. But this was because I wanted people to be financially invested in the training, then I wanted to, again, design the training with them. I wanted the training to be very, very engaging, very practice oriented. You know, you have trainings, you watch them on e-learning. It's difficult. Like no one finishes their training. I think 72% at least are not doing it. So I wanted like something very transformational. And this was possible by making it interactive, by giving chances of practicing. And this is what I've tested with them. And since then, I've run like three cohorts so far. I'm opening the fourth one, by the way, if you're interested. It's 5 weeks with me in a Zoom session because they decided to stop with butter. I'm still crying about this. So it's going to be on Zoom. I'm going to have like interactive session, 3 hours. So it's kind of an investment in time, but I designed the thing to be very transformative in the sense like you only have one module that is pure theory. Then you have practice right away. It's me putting in practice what we've seen in the theory. So I'm going to run a workshop, takes breaks to give you explanation why I'm doing this way, why I'm stopping here. I'm going to break the flow on purpose so that you see the behind the scenes of what is going in the mind of facilitators. Third module, we're going to deep dive into all the activities that you need to know. It's a self-paced module. But what we're going to do live together is actually practicing some of the most tricky activity. All right. Module 4 is how can we gather the right information from a client's discussion and to use those information to design an impactful workshop. And the last module is you facilitating one or two activities and getting feedback from me, but also from the peers so that you have actionable insight to level up your game. So this was the bootcamp. I didn't plan to pitch this, but if you're interested, we are kicking it off in October. In March, we're kicking it off in March, and you have all the information in the description. So yeah, I told you. So my goal was to make sure that we have the right format and a format that is working. I'm getting testimonials that I have having proof that it worked, and know that I'm having that, and know that I'm running a real business. I'm going to sell it at a more premium price. So the core number 4 is still like, I think like now it's still like a great deal. I mean, like the initial price is around 1,500 euros, and you can still have like some discount based on when you buy this. But what I've been doing is slowly increasing the price. And now that I've finally found the formula that works for me and that I have a full-time business, I'm going to slowly increase the price more and more. And I remember in the beginning, people were telling me, you're crazy to sell 5 weeks of your time and all you've learned and all your assets and all your board and all your methodologies for that price. Is because I was building credibility. I wanted to have real transformation. And now that I have done that, I can afford to ask for a more premium price. Okay. Again, because I'm doubling down on corporates, it's still going to be like, I think, affordable in 2025, but I'm going slowly to get there. And I believe that I think it's like something I mentioned, we talked about with Carey Price on the podcast episode. We are afraid to charge a lot of money for what we're doing. So I believe we deliver value. This value has a price. We shouldn't be ashamed to ask for the price that we believe that we are bringing. And this is why my workshop are never the same price. If I'm working on a strategy, it's going to be more expensive than if I'm working on, I don't know, improving the some features on a product or defining the marketing campaign for the next semester. So this is also things that you want to do is value-based pricing. So yeah, that's a bit my plan. What does it really means in my day to day is that in my agenda, you can like, I'm starting the day with business development activities. So I have 2 hour slot that are booked for that. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm not using the 2 hours, but I want to force myself like at the gym to do sales every day, because what happened in my experience in the past is that you're doing sales, you land workshop, then you stop doing it. You deliver the workshop because you're fully focused on this, and then what do you have? You have a down because the activity, you don't have leads anymore, so you need to restore the machine, and restoring the machine takes time. So you're losing the time after delivering a workshop to the next one. So what you want to do is maintain effort to get a healthy pipe so that you still have leads to work on, real project, and then you can move to the next one. And then I have one day where I don't do business development actions. I'm doing content creation. So my big bet in 2026 is going to double down on content creation. So I'm going to do more video type of content. So this is what I'm doing now. So and I'm going to try to go for an episode a week for the podcast and doing some shorts, trying to build my YouTube game and my Instagram where I'm still a newbie while still delivering value on LinkedIn. Something I want to say is that content creation is the long game to build a strong brand and then to have a lot of outbound, so deals that are coming your way. I see many people that they believe, no, I start to create content on LinkedIn. This is what I need to do to land clients. It will, but in a very long time. So this is why I'm doing the hard work of doing warm outreach or cold outreach or calling people, is because in my experience, those are the ways to bring revenues to your business as soon as possible. It takes less time. So this is why I'm doing that. If you combine both, you bring the credibility. So when they were going to check your profile, you're going to see that you're a voice in your field, and then it's going to resonate. It's going to give them more reasons to have the meeting with you, to have the chat with you, etc. Okay. So this is my plan for 2026. Yes, I'm against the wall. I need to make it work. And I'm super excited about this journey. My goal is to double down my revenue. So know that I need to live from my facilitation business. I want to double it down. I think it's feasible. It definitely should be feasible. The thing I also want to share that I'm realizing, and I knew it's the one going to be the case, I thought I was going to have way more time. But what was taking a lot of time in my previous job is actually meeting clients. It's client meetings. I know that I'm starting my business from scratch. I'm having a lot of customer meeting and I still need to create content, deliver the workshop I'm working for. So this at the end, it's not as, I didn't multiply my time by 10 because I'm doing time consuming tasks to make the business work, which is what we need to do, right? To create a sustainable business. And to convince you of doing it, the beginning is super hard because you need to build this customer base. They don't know you. The company never worked with you, so do you need to get trust, etc., etc. But then at the end, I believe it's going to be more comfortable getting there because you will have your customer base. They will be recurrent. I think my consultancy business, 65% of the clients were coming back to work with us for another or third workshop. So I know it's possible. So now I need to get there. All right. Let me know in the comments if it was a valuable episode for you. I took a bet. And please, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to the podcast, to the YouTube channel, to leave a comment, to leave some reviews. This is the only way the podcast can grow. And together we have the chance to make the workplace a better place to work. And this podcast, I believe, can help people doing that. So please share the episode with someone who would benefit from it. Thank you guys. I wish you a very nice day, afternoon, no matter when you're listening to this. It can also be the evening. And we see each other very soon. Cheers. You see, it's a gift of my wife. I'm happy with it.